Good afternoon, students. Yeah, I can see many smiling faces. Very nice. Okay, so do you know which topic we are going to discuss today? Yes, we are going to discuss about fractions. Okay, so let me explain you what is fraction. Okay, let me explain you what is fraction. So, fraction is a part of whole. Okay, fraction is a part of whole. Okay, let me explain you with an example. So, suppose you order a pizza and when it comes, you just see, okay, there are 8 slices in that pizza. So, you think of eating one slice. You just take one slice and you eat it, okay? So, what part of pizza you ate? You ate 1/8th part of pizza. Why? Because there were 8 slices in which you consumed one. So, a pizza is a whole in which there are 8 slices, and among those 8 slices, you consumed one slice. Okay. So, since we are talking about fractions, so in fractions, there are two parts. One is numerator, one is denominator. The upper part is numerator, the lower part is denominator. Okay? So, what we discussed? Fraction. Okay, now tell me. As I told, um, there are two parts of fractions, numerators and denominators. Now suppose you get a question in which there are few fractions written, okay, like 1 by 4, 3 by 4, 7 by 4, 8 by 4. So what is common among these fractions, okay? What is common among these fractions? 1 by 4, 2 by 4, 3 by 4, 7 by 4. What is common? 4, the denominator part, right? The denominator part is 4 and it is common in all the fractions, right? So um, the fractions which have same denominator is known as like fractions. Like fractions. Okay, now when one apple is divided equally among two people, so each person gets 1 by 2, that is half. 1 by 2, that is half, right? Both of them will get half apple, right? 1 by 2. So suppose if 6 apples are divided among two persons. Can say that we can write a fraction into division format also. Suppose I'm telling 9 by 2, a fraction 9 by 2. How you can write it in division form? 9 divided by 2, okay? In which 2 is the divisor, 9 is the dividend, okay? So in a fraction, the numerator is dividend and the denominator is divisor, okay? So now tell me 5 divided by 2, how we can write it in fraction? 5 is dividend here, and what I told, dividend is numerator, so we will write it in the upper as an upper part of fraction, that is the numerator, and 2 is the divisor here. 5 divided by 2, remember, so 2 is the divisor here, so 2 we will write in denominator, okay? And in this way we can find out the answer, okay? So 5 divided by 2, how we can write it in fraction? 5 by 2, okay? Now 6 by 2, 7 by 2, how we can write it in fraction? Division format, so 7 divided by 2, okay? So fractions can easily be written in division format, and division can easily be written in fractional format, okay? Where dividend is numerator, numerator is dividend, where divisor is denominator, or denominator is divisor, okay? Yes, so till now a fraction is a part of a whole, okay? There are two parts of fraction, numerator and denominator, and numerator is the dividend. We can write it in division format also, a fraction, right? So numerator is dividend, denominator is divisor, okay, like 5 by 7. So 5 is the numerator, that is dividend, and 7 is the denominator, that is divisor. So we can write 5 divided by 7, right? Okay. Now like fractions, in the fractions in which the denominators are same, so the fractions with same denominators are like fractions, the fractions with different denominators are unlike fractions. So yes, till now we have done this. Now Now, what is a proper fraction? Okay, so proper means correct, right? Proper means everything at its place, everything right. Okay, so when a numerator is less than a denominator, it is known as proper fraction. So you can say a fraction is known as a proper fraction when the numerator is less than the denominator, okay? And what about when the numerator is not less than denominator? Either greater or equal to denominator, equals to denominator. So then it is improper fraction. So let me come to proper fraction first. Let's take an example. Suppose 5 by 7. Okay. In this, the numerator is 5 and denominator is 7. Okay. So tell me, 5 is less than 7 or more than 7? Yes, it's very easy. 5 is less than 7. Correct. So since numerator is less than 7, numerator is less than denominator, that is 7. 5 numerator, denominator 7, 5 is less than 7, so it's a proper fraction. Okay, 5 by 7 is a proper fraction. Now tell me, 3 by 8, tell me whether it's a proper fraction or an improper fraction. Yes, it's a proper fraction. Very good. Okay, now what about improper fraction? So yes, improper fraction is when the numerator is greater than denominator or equals to denominator. Okay, like 7 by 2. In this, numerator is greater than denominator, right? Because numerator is 7 and denominator is 2. 7 is greater than 2, right? So numerator is greater than denominator, it will be known as improper fraction. So a fraction is known as a proper fraction when the numerator is less than the denominator, and a fraction is known as improper fraction if the numerator is greater than or equals to the denominator. Okay, so now you learned about what? Like fractions, unlike fractions, proper fractions, improper fractions. Okay, now what is unit fraction? Yes, as the name suggests, unit means 1. Okay, so when in any fraction, if the numerator is 1, it and denominator can be anything. Denominator can, I suppose, 1 by 5, 1 by 2, 1 by 6, 1 by 102, 1 by 60. So till now we studied about like fractions, unlike fractions, proper fractions, improper fractions and unit fractions. Now I will tell you about mixed fractions, okay? So what is a mixed fraction? A mixed fraction is a fraction that contains a whole number and a fraction. Okay. Remember I gave you the example of 7 apples that you have to divide among two persons, right? So you divided three and a half each to each, right? 3 apples, and from one apple you cut it into two parts and you divide it among those two persons. So you divided three and a half. So in that three and a half, what is that three? That three is a whole number, right? And what is that half? That half is a fraction, correct? So 3 and a half is a mixed fraction. Mixed fraction means a fraction in which there is a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. Okay, you can simply say mixed fraction is mixture of a whole number and a fraction, right? So in that three and a half, you will divide, you can easily say that 3 is a whole number and what? In mixed fraction, like whole number is also known as integral part, right? We can also say that 3 is the integral part and half is the fractional part. So in every mixed fraction, the whole number is also known as integral part and the fractions is known as fractional part. Now, one question from you all. You have to divide 9 chocolates among three children, okay? How you will write it? You will write 9 divided by 3. Yeah, very good. And how you can write it in fraction? Yes, 9 by 3. Very nice. Now, how many chocolates each child will get? 3 chocolates. Very good. That you did by dividing it, right? Now you have to divide 9 chocolates among 2. Okay. Then how you will do it? First, how you will write? 9 divided by 2, right? So tell me, is this proper fraction or improper? Yes, this is improper. Why? Because 9 is the numerator and numerator is greater than denominator, that is 2. Okay. So, yes, after dividing 9 by 2, you got a quotient of 4 and remainder 1. It means 4 apples will be equally divided into 4 chocolates will equally divided into all the both the children, right? Each children will get 4 apple. That is the whole part. And what about the remainder? Remainder is 1, right? So it will be divided into 2. 1 chocolate will be divided into 2 parts. That is 1 by 2. So 4 and half. Each child will get 4 and half chocolates, right? So here it's a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. Whole number is also known as integral number. Okay, integral part. So 4 here in this fraction, 4 is the integral part and 1 by 2 is the fractional part, right? So 4 and half. Okay, it's a mix. So with this, I will now summarize what I taught you today. I taught you about fraction. A fraction is a part of a whole. So first, it has two parts like numerator and denominator. We can also write it in division format, okay, where the numerator is considered as, where the numerator is dividend and the denominator is divisor, okay, like 9 by 2. So it can also be written as 9 divided by 2. The fractions with same denominator is known as like fractions, and the fraction with different denominators are known as unlike fractions, okay. Now the fractions in which the numerator is bigger than the denominator is improper fraction.